we are at this hour. The storm is scarring every place she touches in the Caribbean so far. Cuba is next in the path. We will show you the predictions. We have the best proof of what she's done so far. Chad Myers is going to show you the moment, the track that we know right now. And I'm being qualified about it because the closer the storm gets, the less hope there is for a shift. But there's still variables. We'll take you through them. Right now, Florida is under a hurricane warning. It's looking like a Category 4. That's 155-mile-an-hour sustained winds. Gusts can go higher. The models call for a hit somewhere in South Florida. There seems to be a westerly shift. That could be a good thing. We'll take you through the possibilities. So, again, this could be the last tranquil morning you see in South Florida for some time. Every man and woman, every official and first responder is pleading with those in evacuation areas to get out now. Those sheltering in place, the message is clear. Have a plan, have supplies for 72 hours. That's 3 days. Take a look at the map. You can see where the mandatory and voluntary evacuation centers are in Florida. Just because your county may not have an evacuation order in place right now, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be one by tomorrow. So be ready to have to move. Keep checking. There are lots of places to look online. Look at our website if you need help. Now, a lot of the people are getting out of Dodge. Take a look. This is the interstate, jam-packed. Cars are obviously heading north. Florida's governor shutting down offices, schools, colleges, even some hospitals, all closed. Why? Well, because the destructive capabilities of 100-plus-mile-an-hour winds, anticipated storm surge 10, 20 feet in this spongy area of the state. You can't exaggerate the effect, Allison.
Okay, Chris, it's so great to have you on the ground there to tell us what you're seeing and as the conditions change, what you're experiencing there. So, meanwhile, 10 people have already been killed by Hurricane Irma, and of course that number could rise as it hits the more populated areas. The monster storm pummeling Turks and Caicos. Here's some video. This happened overnight. The wind and torrential rain causing lots and lots of damage. The Bahamas and Cuba now bracing for impact. They are the next in line to be hit by Irma. The Red Cross says the storm has already battered 1.2 million people, but 26 million more are in its path. And as if this all is not bad enough, there is another hurricane on Irma's heels. So we're now keeping a close watch on Hurricane Jose. CNN is using all of our global resources to bring you up-to-the-minute coverage of Hurricane Irma, beginning with CNN meteorologist Chad Myers. Chad, tell us where this thing is heading.
It is heading to Florida. It is going to make landfall in the Keys somewhere. Right now, it's over Crooked Island in the Turks and Caicos. Millibars of 925. That is a very deep and strong storm. This is not a Category 1. This is nothing to ride out and say, oh, it's just a blow. I will be fine. No, if you are in the Keys, you need to go. If you are in the lower elevations here of Miami-Dade, you need to go. You already have those mandatory evacuations. And I don't say this because I've seen so many people ride this out, and they're always fine. This isn't an always fine kind of storm. This is a storm that will have a storm surge bubble of 15 to 20 feet. It's already running over the Turks and Caicos right now. There will be waves on top of that 15 feet of another 15 or 20 feet. So your house is not safe in the Keys. Oceanside, Bayside, whatever. Get out. Get up the Cardstown Road, get up the stretch, whatever it takes for you to have to do. Here's where the European model is taking it right over right there, right over the western edge, probably Big Pine Key, right up to almost to Cape Coral. That's the area here that will see the 130 to 140 mile per hour winds. The onshore flow here in Miami will also cause significant storm surge in the city, maybe 6 to 10 feet there. Now, the American model, slightly farther to the east, but still not that much farther, maybe 40 miles, getting over about Key Largo, right through Miami proper with 130 to 140 mile per hour winds, right where our Chris Cuomo is, and it will be a devastating storm. You need to get away from here, because even though you know it's going to go over land, you know what that land is? That land is the Everglades. That's not land. That's still water. The storm is not going to slow down much. Even by the time it gets to Atlanta, we'll have wind gusts here 45 to 60 miles per hour, and some flash flooding is possible, but that's not the real storm. The story, Chris, is surge and the story is wind damage. We will get some rain. This isn't Harvey. This is moving fast. This moving fast is bad because it's going to push that bubble of water right through the Keys, right into Homestead, right into Cutler Ridge, all the way in those areas into Biscayne Bay. If you're within 10 feet elevation of the Biscayne Bay, you need to get out.
And there's all this eerie familiarity with those areas from Hurricane Andrew back in 1992.
Absolutely.
Those are the memories that people fear repeating now. And the authorities down here, thank you, Chad, for telling people, hey, just because you're seeing the eye go over one area doesn't mean that you're not still going to get hit. It doesn't have to be a direct hit to be a bad hit. Chad, we'll check back with you in a little bit. So in tracking that path that Chad just showed you, who's up next? Cuba. They are gearing up for the destructive power of Irma. Deadly hurricane force winds, especially along the northern ridge of that vulnerable island, all coming in just a matter of hours. CNN is there. We have Patrick Oppman live in Cuba with the very latest. My friend, I hope your family is okay. I know you got to be out there doing your job, but, you know, your heart is in that home as well. What are you seeing on the ground?
Hey, good morning, Chris. Thank you so much. Well, here in Caibara in Cuba, people are getting ready. Tourists have evacuated. You talk about the Florida Keys, but Cuba has its own keys on the northern coast, full of hotels. Usually a pretty busy season right now. They're all empty. Here, where Cubans live along this coastal community, a lot of people have evacuated. Some of the bomb shelters built during the Cuban Missile Crisis, Chris. So the government is moving hundreds of thousands of people here. They're telling residents that just about everyone on this island will be affected. We still don't know if it's going to be a glancing blow or a direct hit, but whatever happens, it is going to cause devastation in Cuba before heading north to Florida.
Okay, Patrick, thank you very much. Obviously, we'll check back with you throughout the program. So overnight, Turks and Caicos took a direct hit from Hurricane Irma, and that's where Travis Cohen and his new wife were celebrating their honeymoon. They spent days trying to figure out what to do. Travis joins us now from Coral Springs, Florida, with the story of how they got out and where they're going next. Travis, man, I have been reading about your odyssey of how you tried to figure out how to get off the island. So tell us what day you figured out you were in trouble and what you did.
The day I figured out I was in trouble was probably around Sunday, and we started looking at flights to get out of there, but there was really nothing to get out of there, and we were told, don't really worry yet, just wait till you get evacuated. And I'm like, no, I don't want to wait till it's too late. I need to get out now. Right. So there's nothing we could really do.
So then you started calling airlines, you started calling, travel agents, and it felt for a while as if you were trapped. How did you and your wife eventually make it out?
A lot of coffee, and eventually on Wednesday, a miracle opened up. There was a flight that showed up. You could get out of there for $1,500 a person, which is outrageous, but we had no choice but to take it. So there was a plane that we chartered, some of our guests that we chartered because our airlines weren't coming to get us, and we got out of there for a nominal fee. Right. That only put us in another situation. Now we're stuck in Florida, and we have to get out of Florida. But I'm just happy to be out of there. Yeah,
no, I get it. Your odyssey is not over. You need to evacuate or get out of Florida whenever you can. But so there was this charter flight for $1,500, and a couple of days earlier, you'd been offered a different charter flight for $1,500, at which point you said, that's price gouging, no thanks. Yeah. I'm not going to do it. You stood on principle, and then crazy. 2 days later, you were like, I think I'll take it.
Yeah, because I think at that point, that was our only option. I thought a couple of days ago, maybe there's got to be some other flights. There's no way you have to pay that much to get out of there. And then it turns out that was our only option. So we were just happy to leave. We'll worry about the financials later. That's the least of our problems right now.
No kidding. So how much?
But I heard that there were people that had to charter a flight, and they had to pay $5,000 each. I mean, I heard about price gouging going on all over the place.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, obviously, they're just, preying on people who are desperate to get to safety. So how much of your honeymoon did you dedicate to trying to figure out how to get out of the way of Irma?
Let's just say I spent more money getting out of there than I spent getting there and staying at a hotel. But our budget pretty much doubled from this whole thing. And it's, obviously not recoverable. We're not out of the woods yet. But we're just happy that we have our lives for now. At least we're not like the poor people in Florida who have everything to worry about. I just had to get myself out, but these people have homes, everything. And I can't even imagine the devastation that's going to happen here.
So, Travis, let's talk about what's next. I know that there's this whole planes, trains, and automobiles system that you have for how you're going to get back to California. What are you looking at?
Literally that exact thing. There's no rental cars here in Florida. I was told you can't even rent a skateboard out of here. We're going to take an Amtrak to Orlando, get an Uber to the airport there, get on our plane there, fly as close as we can to LA, which we got to Long Beach, and then Uber back home.